Welcome everyone to another episode of Into the Pit. I have here Mr. Casey Schnese, and we're going to get to know him. We're going to get to know about what he does as a paranormal investigator. So, Casey, if you would start off, let's just talk about you, like where you're born and raised, and all those good things.
Well, I was born and raised in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Not much to say there, but yes, Wisconsin.
You a cheesehead?
I am actually.
All right.
I am. I'm a Wisconsin fan, so Badgers, Brewers, Green Bay. So
I got you. I won't hold that
yeah.
against you.
I mean, I respect all teams. I mean, they all have talents, but I'm a cheesehead. So,
Got you. So
but
tell me a
yeah.
little bit about how you got into being a paranormal investigator.
Well, ironically, I watch TV a lot, so I watched all the ghost shows and stuff like that. That's how I got interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
But in the last, well, since the last 10 years since I was watching tabs, I actually never thought I'd be investigating actually until this past November.
Oh, okay. Just going to ask you if you had started your own or you joined a team.
I started my own team actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I was back in November. A friend of mine's like, well, why don't you come to my event, to one of mine events, and you'll see what it's like. And I did, and now I'm at my own team. So she's actually the one that got me into actual investigating.
Okay.
So
All right. How many people do you have on your team?
roughly 13 members on my team now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've jumped up to me and her up to 13.
When you do your investigations, how do you usually go about doing them?
We talk to our clients, we interview them, we also do our tours with them. Um, I guess they give us the information we need, and then we do investigations and like everybody else does. We go in as skeptics. We try to debunk, and obviously, if it doesn't can't, then well, it's paranormal. So that's just the way I am.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Go in there and try to debunk everything instead of starting out, oh yeah, this place is haunted, because a lot of times you can find reasons
but
why
we
things
also go in
happen.
open-minded too. Yeah, yeah, we go in open-minded, but yeah, we go in like skeptical mindset too. So
What kind of equipment do you have?
we actually have very little because we just started in February. So I know my teammate, she's got a whole bunch of equipment like REM pods, mel meters, K2 meters, a couple of cameras, recorders. She even got the ghost box. She's got the bear trigger optic type thing. So
Oh, okay.
she got all kinds of stuff. But she's not always with us, so we don't always have the equipment, but I'm working on getting my own. So yeah, she bought me a few things to start out with.
Yeah. So, do y'all use anything like dowsing rods?
We do not because we don't have the knowledge of those, much less, I guess you can say,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have any. So like I said, we don't have anybody that's knowledgeable for that kind of stuff. So I mean, I don't want to mess with something that I don't have knowledge with.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't blame you. Well, using just a digital recorder and your instincts, maybe a video camera with night vision, that's the best equipment to go with.
I'm working on getting cameras pretty soon, like DVR system of cameras, anything that can help us give evidence when we're not there. So yeah, it should be a fun ride
Well,
to say the least.
I'll tell you, go to Walmart and get a home security camera system that
Okay.
works perfect, and you don't have to spend a whole lot of money.
I was actually looking on Amazon and Walmart, and I was seeing pretty decent ones.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just not one to find out which one's good, which one's not, for the most part. So it's all new to me. Like I said, I started my team in February. We've been to 2 locations here in Wisconsin so far.
So far.
Yeah, and I got like 8, 9 lined up next. Yeah, our
Oh,
second location actually, we're going to be establishing our team there. So I mean, for that to happen, that's pretty cool.
oh yeah. So have you been able to capture any evidence yet?
Um, on video, no. We've had audio. Um, I mean, we've seen shadows and all that kind of stuff, but nothing too major. I've been touched this Saturday. We were in investigation. I was touched twice. Seen shadows, voices, footsteps, and so on. So that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, those personal experiences, man, those are the best.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I never, like I said, I never really thought I'd be an investigator, much less get this much attention so quickly. It's just been a blessing. I have a sister of mine. Well, she's not a sister, but I claim she is because I've known her for almost 20 years now. So she's with me on it. Her husband's with, and there's a few others that are with us. So,
Oh, nice.
and my oldest nephew is now starting to wanting to be with me on that. So, and he's just turning 18, so he's a young pup. So,
Hey, start them out young, man.
yep,
But it's kind of amazing. Sometimes you'll get
yep,
in a setting and
that's how it is usually.
people will ask you, hey, what do you do? And you tell them, oh yeah, I'm a paranormal investigator, and it's almost like you become a rock star.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, from November, well, starting actually February, my social media on Facebook went from 300 friends to over 2,000 friends. So it's like, as a big jump, and 90% of them are all paranormal investigators all across the country, even some in the UK. Even it's like, wow, that's just getting that. And then I got tabs that I've got friends from there, from the newest team, like Daryl and them guys. I know them, so that was interesting meeting them on Facebook. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah, Daryl and Mustafa, Brian, Rochelle, Brandon, they're all wonderful people, and they don't act
Yeah, they're
like
all
they're
good people.
celebrities.
Yeah, yeah. I know the original tabs members. They don't act like celebrities either, that I've noticed. So especially Jason, he's mellow. He really doesn't care if he's popular or not. He just does his job. From what
Exactly.
I'm seeing.
I tell you, I got to meet Dave and Dustin and Steven and Samantha, and they were all just they were wonderful. They don't act like they're any kind of celebrity,
Right.
and even though they're kind of like the, I guess you say, the godfathers of the paranormal for us,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
don't have that big head about it.
Right. Yeah, I actually will be meeting Jason, Steve, Tango, Dustin, a lot of those guys end of the month.
Cool. And where's that going to be?
So because I'll be going to the Michigan Paranormal Convention. So I'll be meeting a lot of the top investigators. So my mom's tagging along with that one. So she's into that kind of stuff. So she'll be joining me in a lot of investigations too. So
Oh, cool.
yeah.
So what's the name of your team?
Eastern Wisconsin Paranormal.
Eastern Wisconsin Paranormal. All right. So have y'all started a Facebook page for the group, or Instagram, any other kind of social media?
Not we have our own Facebook page, but we don't have any Instagram or anything like that yet.
Now, is that just the Eastern Wisconsin Paranormal. Is that the name of the page?
Yep.
Okay.
I can send you that link too.
Yeah, if you would, I will post that up in the description of the video so people can follow you. And if you ever get the Instagram or anything
Yep.
else, send
And I
them to
think I
me.
get a yeah, we're gonna actually be taping our investigations too soon
Oh,
for
cool.
YouTube channels and stuff. So we've got a guy that's doing that for us.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
got your cameraman.
Well, yeah, I pretty much will. My nephew is gonna be my tech manager, so that's gonna be new for him. But he's pretty good with electronics, so not gonna, you know, basically not gonna have him like, oh my god, what is this, or because he's hooked up his systems and stuff before, so it'd be nothing new to him.
I know whenever people are first getting into the paranormal, I always like to know. I mean, what was that I guess aha moment for you where you said, "Okay, I'm definitely going to do this."
That was actually I was at Karsten Inn here in Wisconsin,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually had my handheld, and that there was like, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing for my passion and my work. Basically, my brother says I have more guts than he does.
You got family and friends that say you're crazy.
Not really crazy, but more or less more gutsy. 'Cause my brother doesn't like being in a dark, even in his own backyard. He doesn't really stay out there very long unless it's by the fire. But
Yeah, I have some family that like, yeah, you're a nut. I'm like, well, you knew that all my
yeah,
life, so
yeah, I've always been known that too. I mean, my family adores me, so they support whatever I do. He doesn't want to do any of the traveling ghost hunting stuff, but he supports. So I mean, his business is gonna be our sponsor, so that's kind of cool.
oh, that's
So
really nice.
yeah, I'll be working for him here and there when I can and stuff like that. Like I said, it'll be a fun ride. Yeah, my friend Sarah, she's the one that invited me to her teams in paranormal investigation because it was an open public type of investigation. So she's like, a lot of people are going to be there, but she wanted me to try it out. She basically never left my side pretty much. She just like wanted to be next to me investigating and never left. A lot of people like wanted to join, never left. So I don't know. I must be that person that pulls you in and never leave. So
There you go. Well, you must have that personality.
I do. A lot of people seem to like me. I mean, her friend also was that kind of same way. Like she enjoyed being around me too, but work wise, I don't know what it is that I do because I'm just myself. I don't really do anything special.
But do you get a lot of advice?
Actually, I do get quite a lot of advice. Actually, Daryl's been giving me hints here and there, advice wise, so it's been pretty cool talking with him. I guess you could say he's kind of like a mentor. If I have questions, he'll answer type thing. So
Oh, that's
he's the
good.
main one. He's the main one I really talk to mainly than the other ones.
Oh yeah, Daryl's good people,
Yeah.
and we learn from each
Yeah.
other too, because you're never going to be an expert.
Right.
People
Right.
that say that are fooling themselves.
I actually a lot of my knowledge actually came from Jason Hawes and his team. So I learn from them every day, new things every time I see them on TV. I kind of present my way with them, and then it just goes from there. Whatever new I have, I share. Whatever everybody else has, they share. So it's just big paranormal family that help each other out. So
Yeah, you have some good people in the paranormal field, and then you have some that like to cause drama, and I don't understand why, because we're all supposed to be a community and
yeah,
almost family in a way. So we should be
yeah,
helping each other instead of trying to hurt one another.
right. Actually, I've got another local team that I'm working with now too on the side. Like they'll be helping us out, we'll be helping them out type thing. So like, if they have an investigation, they're the one members, they'll call us to ask us to help out, vice versa. So That's cool.
We do the same thing. We try to help each other. Sometimes they're short on people, and sometimes we're short on people.
Yeah.
It's good when somebody can kind of step in and say, "Hey, I'm glad to help." That's the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be a family.
Yeah. And that's what I'm all about, is to help people. Yeah. That's the way I'm just more one to help. They don't need no money for it.
Well, exactly. And you have to be kind of leery when you got people that are trying to charge to do these kind of things. This is,
Right.
more for, I mean, it's fun, but you're trying to
Right.
help people. So I don't believe in charging people. Now, if you
Yeah.
want to donate, that's fine, but I don't ever ask anybody.
Right. And that's the way I am. I know a friend of mine, she's like, well, do you charge people for your services? I know it's free. I mean, we're here to help people that need help. My opinion is to help business owners keep their business running because of it. You know, that's what I'm kind of leaning towards right now. And then leaning towards home investigations, but right now it's more business right now, just to get my feet in more. When you have the business background, and they say, yeah, well, they're good, then they're gonna want, you know what I mean, type of thing. So that's what we're leaning towards more.
Yeah. I think that's part of people's reluctance to call on groups like us, because they think, I ain't got money to pay for that. And a good team is really not going to charge you.
Right. And I just got a guy that the place that I mentioned that's going to be letting us establish there. I've got a new investigator that just joined. He's been an investigator for several years now, and he does a lot of hosting stuff. So he'll be helping me with that, partnering up with me for that, and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be fun.
Yeah. And when you're running a group, and some people will probably disagree with me, but I don't like to say that, I'm the boss or whatever of the team. We all put in equal input. Now, when it comes to making
Right.
real
And that's
decisions,
what
I have to. I have to make those decisions, but I
right.
I also talk it over with the group before we make anything final.
Right. And that's what we do. I mean, I've seen teams that one person's like, oh, you gotta do this in this department, you gotta do that in that department, and you know what I mean. You gotta do this, do that, do this, do that. Basically, be a boss type. And I'm like, that's not me. Yeah, I'm just like, obey the client's rules,
Oh,
have fun, you know, choose which one you want to work with, switch off, and just have fun. That's been our thing since we started.
yeah, you have to be respectful not only to the clients, but also to whatever you may be,
Yeah,
investigating. You don't know, what kind of trauma the spirit's been through.
yeah,
You want to be as respectful as you can, and
yeah. I
don't
tell
provoke.
all my team. Yeah, I tell my team that all the time. Do not provoke, because you don't know what you're going up against.
Well, and
Because
it's
the good ones,
disrespectful.
yeah, the good ones can turn bad on you if you're disrespectful to them. Not like they're always good. You know what I mean? They're like people. You know.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, they are. And some of them are stuck, and I know
Yeah.
some people will want to keep them around, I guess, as almost like a gimmick, or a party trick or something. But
Right.
if you can help them to cross over, then you do everything in your power to do that. And it's why I always recommend that any team that goes out finds you a reputable psychic medium that can come in and can communicate with them, and also give you the right advice on how to help this entity pass over. And if it's something that you can't handle, and something that the client's not going to be able to handle, that's when you bring
Yeah.
in somebody who can.
Right. I actually know a couple psychics that are willing to help me if I need to.
That's good.
Um, I'm actually a sensitive, so I kind of can tell if they want help or not.
Oh,
So I
good.
mean,
Well, I guess I should have asked you that.
yeah, I've had ability. Actually, I didn't even know I had abilities until recently, until I was told. I'm an empath.
Okay.
Um,
That's
it's a
good.
learning thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. Especially if you've had those abilities all your life and you never really tried to use them and you're just now finding out, anybody that can help you with that. If you got psychic medium friends, you take all the advice you can, learn
Yeah.
to meditate, learn to
I've
listen.
I've been I've been meditating for the last 2 months, and if I don't meditate, I can't sleep.
Does anything ever bother you when you're trying to sleep?
No, nothing really bothers me. It's just if I don't meditate, my mind just races and races. But once I turn the meditation, I'm out like instant. Sometimes I'll wake up with my headset still on my head, just listening. Yeah, it's like okay, type thing. So yeah, so I've been having crystals around too,
Oh, that's good. Good.
for protection and for healing and that kind of stuff. And ones that also help with meditation type stuff and that too. So it's I've been getting a lot of advices from people what crystal can do this, what one can do that with. I bring my crystals with me to every investigation I go to. So
Okay.
it seems to help, especially the one that blocks the negative ones away. I bring those crystals with just so that they don't follow me home.
Yeah. Do y'all sage?
Um, I don't, but the team that I've been working with, actually, the owners, both of them are ordained ministers, so that's kind of a plus.
Oh, good.
So if we feel attachment, they'll be there to help. So that's always a plus. Even if they're not around and we're investigating, they'll still help. So it's kind of nice to have in the back pocket.
Anytime you can get that outside help, man, because when I first got into it, the team that I first joined, I don't think they really knew what they were doing, and I actually brought something home with me, and it made me physically ill to the point of after 3 doctors and all the tests that I went through, they never could find out what was wrong, and a it was actually a medium that helped me to get rid of it,
Yeah,
and it will make you sick, man.
yeah. That's the actual risk we all gotta take when we do this field. But like I said, when you got background of people that mediums, priests, pastors, if they're all there for you, then you'd be fine. Along with Christ, obviously.
Oh yeah, pray. That's another good thing. Pray.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of teams or a Pacific team that I watched on TV that actually did that before their investigations on actual TV. It's like you don't see a lot of teams on TV doing that.
Yeah, I believe Tennessee Wraith Chasers do that before they begin an
Yes,
investigation.
yep. I actually get to meet Chris and Mike at the end of the month too for the convention. So yeah,
Ah,
I mean to get to meet a lot of those guys. So it's gonna be interesting.
yeah, I'm anxious to actually meet Scott in person. I've had him on my show before, and we're making a trip to Tennessee, and I'm like, hey man, we're gonna be right down the road from you. You want to meet up and eat somewhere? And he's like, hey, let me know when you're in town. So I'm looking forward to it. He's a good old
Yeah,
country boy.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a long ride for me. I can tell you that. And I've been married. I was married for 10 years, and like I said, I never thought I'd be investigating. But now I'm not with her anymore, obvious reasons. But I mean, things happen for a reason, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, they do. They do. I don't believe in coincidences anymore. Too many things have happened to make me believe that the universe and God has plans for us. I'd gotten divorced and was on my own for 10 years until I met my wife that I have now. And we were going out on our first date after we'd been talking over the phone for, I guess, a month. And the night we were supposed to go on a date, she called me and she said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I have to call the date off. Something important came up and I have to go." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I understand." And of course, I thought she was blowing me off, but she kept texting me all night, and I'm like, well, this is weird. If she went out on another date or she went somewhere else, why is she texting me all night? So I finally built up the nerve to say, "Hey, why did you have to blow off our date?" And about 10 minutes of silence before she finally said, "Well, I might as well tell you now. I have to tell you that I'm a paranormal investigator, and we had a case come up where a child was possibly in harm's way, and that's why I had to go." And she was afraid that I was going to think she was kooky and not want to go out with her. And
Yeah.
I said right there on the spot, "Will you marry me now?"
Right.
And we've been together 6 years, so something went right.
That's good. Yeah, I've got a few. Yeah, I got a couple of female friends of mine that like just one recently. I've known her for, oh God, I would say like 6 years now. I met her with my wife when I was married. We met at her church that we went to. And I didn't think nothing of it. I didn't think she was into this stuff. And just one day, I was talking to her like, "This is what I do now." She's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Well, I watch those shows too." Okay, then. Well, I guess I don't have to hide that from you then. So it's nice to have. It's nice to have women interested in it, but also support too.
Yeah.
If they don't actually investigate, but ones that can understand.
Well, I know for a while I was almost skeptical to tell anyone because I didn't want the ridicule. And then I was like, you know what? I like doing this. This is part of my life now. And if people don't like it, then they can just lump it because it's not going to stop me from doing it. So, whatever. You either
Yeah.
like me or you don't, and you think I'm a nut, fine. I mean, I am a
Uh,
nut, but that's beside the point.
Aren't we all I mean, all of us are in some way, shape, or form, but
Hey, true geniuses have a bit of madness to them, every one
yep,
of them.
yeah.
So,
And I actually never realized how many females are actually into this field because, like, I'm getting all these female friend requests that are in the paranormal. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So it's cool. I like that because it's not just a guy thing, so to speak.
well, and that's the way it should be.
Right.
You need a little bit of that male and that female touch when you're dealing with any kind of spirits, entities, ghosts, what have you. So
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without my wife around.
Yeah. It's just I have a lot of friends that support it, and actually, some like Anna, she must have contacted you about interviewing with you because she got jealous. She's like, "What? You're in an interview with him?" Yeah. Damn it! I'm trying to get him, type thing.
What's the name of her group?
Sixth Sense Paranormal.
Okay, I think I do know who that is.
Um, I can't remember her last name. Gatlin. She did message you, I think, recently. She told me you guys had a meeting set up for an interview, but yeah, at first she was jealous. She's like, "I wanted to do that for the longest time, and you get to do it before I do." I'm like, "Well, he came to me first, and it wasn't me going to him." So
Yeah, I think she had messaged me because I'd put a message out there for anybody that was interested in being interviewed to please contact me. And I think she had
right,
something going on in her life that she couldn't do it right away. So if it's the same person I'm thinking of, but if you
yeah,
talk to her, tell her to get back in touch with me.
yeah, I think she did message you. I don't know, or at least she told me she was planning on it. Um,
I get so many messages, and I try to keep up with everybody's names, but when you meet 600-700 people, it's hard to remember everybody's name. Hell,
right.
sometimes I have to go through the list of all my kids before I call the right
And
name
sometimes you
out.
can't remember your own name. Right?
Right. Exactly.
Sometimes, yeah, it can get overwhelming. I can tell you, but it's a fun ride. I mean,
Oh, it is. You meet
my
so many great people.
My brother's like, I have never met that many people in my lifetime. What's what you've got? And I'm like, well, I mean, it's paranormal. You meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
I recommend that you join some of those Facebook pages of the paranormal, and everybody share advice, and sometimes people come up with new cool techniques that they can pass on. I don't like to hold all that to myself. I like to share,
right, right,
because I mean somebody might be able to tell me something that can help me in the future that I never thought of.
right. And I've actually never really been knowledge of stuff, but I come up with things too. So it's like,
And sometimes
you
it's on
know,
the fly.
yeah,
Something happens. It's like, hey, let's try this, and I may never. Somebody out there may have done it before, but I'd never heard of it, and I tried it.
right.
I mean, we have a REM pod, and we went to Seguin, Texas. Now, Seguin is known for the Magnolia Hotel, I believe is the name of
Yep,
it.
I've
And
heard of it.
anyway, the client, we went to her house. It was literally down the street from the Magnolia, but anyway, that's another story. But anyway, they're remodeling the house, and this house
Mm.
was really old. And I set the REM pod up in this one room, and it was beeping like I had never heard before. And as it was
Mm.
beeping, somebody in the group said, that sounds like Morse code. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. It does sound like Morse code. So I jumped on my phone and I found an app that you could actually type in a sentence, and it would make the beeps just like a Morse code. And it
Yeah,
seemed like it was talking back and forth. Now, mind you, I don't know how to decipher Morse code very well.
right, right,
So I couldn't keep up with whatever was being said back and forth if there was a conversation, but it seemed like it was, because it was answering every time I would punch in a question. It would
right,
do the beeps, and it was incredible. So hey, if you come across something like that, try it. I mean, it's a free
right.
app. So
And that reminds me, I was in my very first investigation with my team. We were at a theater, which is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and Oshkosh is a base known for the Civil War
mm,
era. And we were in the theater area. Yeah, our recorders actually, I've thought of hit the Morse codes, like do 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 type thing.
mm-hmm.
We did not hear this with our ears, so I'm like, where did that come from? I couldn't figure it out. And here I'm trying to debunk it, trying to figure out if it was one of their equipment going off, like
Mm-hmm.
camera ticking, stuff like that. A buddy of mine like, well, maybe it could be the camera malfunction. I'm like, no, that's not it. It can't be. You would hear it. And like, yeah, that's true. I'm like, and then you would think if you're in a theater in that huge room, you would hear the echo of something happening from different equipment they've got. We didn't hear anything. Of course, recorders can pick up more than what we can, but
True.
I mean, not like that. And then, of course, I have a lot of people in the military, so I'm like asking them this, asking them that with that. And they're like, well, it seems like a Morse code to me. And then I got thinking about the Civil War, so I'm looking it up, and yeah, sure enough, that was a big area for the Civil War hospital stuff. So it was like kind of cool to get some that air typing like that, or yeah, we didn't hear that with our own ears. That's the
No.
best evidence to get when you don't hear it and the recorder hears it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I picked up some pretty great stuff. One of the weirdest things that happened to us, and I wish somebody could explain to me how the heck this happened. The house that was getting remodeled, my buddy had brought one of his digital recorders, and he left it going. At the end of the investigation, we're packing everything up. He couldn't find his recorder, and we looked, and I'm like, well, maybe it'll come up. I'll ask the lady that owns the place if she runs across the recorder to please give it back to
Right.
us. Anyways, quite a bit of time went by, and then I got a message from her. She says, hey, I found your recorder. or should I say, my workers found your recorder. And I'm like, okay. She said it was inside one of the walls that they were tearing out. I'm like, what?
Uh,
She goes, yes, it's inside. It was inside the wall. When they busted the wall open, there it was. Like, you're
uh,
kidding me.
uh,
So,
that's weird.
hey, if somebody can explain it to me, please do.
I've heard spirits taking things and hiding them in odd spots. I've heard a lot of stories like that, but I mean, sometimes you really can't explain that either. Like my sister, her house is haunted too, and she's had stuff moved from one spot into the middle of the floor without no one touching it. And where it was sitting at, if someone did, there'd be a lot more on the floor than just one thing. And it's just, and she knows who the spirit is. It's her father that haunts the place. He's a friendly one, but yeah, they know it's him because it was his stuff. Every time I go in that house, I get the hairs on my hand standing up, and it's like one certain spot I stare at, and it's like, that my intuition kicking in, or is he trying to tell me something? And it's like every time I walk into that house, same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, you just go with your intuitions, man. You got to learn to trust your abilities. That's how you develop them. You trust in them.
Yeah, and it was funny. Our first the theater investigation, I didn't even know. I had a dream about it once, and then 2 weeks later, I'm starting to investigate it, and I'm like, "Holy crap! What?"
Oh,
It was
yeah.
actually the bit. It was actually the building next door that I was dreaming about, not that building. So that was kind of weird because both buildings are across the street from each other. So I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. And then this last place, the same thing. I jumped something in that area, and then we're investigating that place. The trend of dreams that I have places, and then where I end up going there, it's weird. I don't know what it is. Like they're calling me there or something. I don't know.
It's a possibility. Definitely hone in on those abilities, man, because they will help you in your investigations.
Now my team's like, did you dream of any place yet? Is there any place you jumped in? No. I guess we're not investigating anytime soon yet until you do. So it's like, well, I mean, so now I have quite a few lined up already. So across the state. Sarah, my investigator, she's trying to get me into the state asylum here in the state.
Hmm.
So, or at least one of them. I'm like, that'd feel like home for me. That's the way my mind is sometimes. But he laughs. He's like, yeah. Like, so
Well,
I've never been to an asylum before to investigate. So it'd be cool to.
it can get crazy. I've been to a
Mm.
few. It's an experience. I'll just say that.
Yeah, she's pretty active. She's like, they're not aggressive. She says they're more. They can get agitated more or less. They're more like angry type feel. She's like, they're just normal people. If they get agitated, they'll let you know.
Yeah,
So,
they will. They will definitely let you know that.
yeah, she's just like, just let it go with the flow. I mean, they
Sure.
want to be known, they'll let you know that they'll be known. Like, can't let it go on, like, force them to do anything. So, they want to be seen, they'll let you know they want to be seen. So,
Yeah, they will.
uh, yeah, so I'm learning a lot from her and others too, and what favorite equipment people like and what they don't like and reasons of it. So it's just good advice to know from other people. So
Yep. Yeah. Any kind of advice you can get, share whatever knowledge that you have. Um, let's just keep this thing going and help each other out.
yeah,
It's shouldn't be an ego thing. It should just be we're trying to help people kind of thing.
yeah. And actually my sister, she had bought some cat toys, a little button that turns on the light and you set it on the floor and it lights up. It's like, let's try that and see how that goes. It actually works. I'll set it down and I'll actually touch it and it'll light up or roll. Yeah, it rolled last week.
Oh my gosh.
this past Saturday. So we're like, okay, this works. I mean, if they're playful, they'll play around with it. Don't bother us. So
Wow. I'll tell you something else. You know, you see those grid lights that puts little dots on the wall, and you see if something passes through it. You go online and try to buy that. It's like $100 and something, I think.
I actually have one. I have a laser
Do you? You know what we did?
grid.
You know, whenever
Yep.
Christmas season comes around and they have those ones that they shine on your house, it looks like you have decorations all over. We just got one of those. It was like $20.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we have a couple of millimeters with my sister and I. She bought me one for just whatever, for helping her out, and we use it. That's how I seen my shadow that I seen this past week. And that was just the same time as the owner got touched, not long after her husband got touched, on command, nonetheless. Or I should say request, not command. I got touched twice on request, so that was kind of cool. All around the same time, a couple of shadows went through the laser grid, so that was kind of cool.
I hope you don't have one of those evenings like I had. Something, you know, I have abilities, or at least I've been told to have abilities, and I haven't really pursued them. I just don't have that kind of confidence, I guess. But my ear will pop, like, you know, when you're on an airplane, but it's always my left ear when there's a spirit around. And it happened to me one night, and I'm laying in the bed, and I actually felt something touch my shoulder and pull the covers off of me, and it made my heart sink because it scared the snot out of me. Wasn't expecting it, you know. Sometimes things like that happen.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I've never had that happen to me before, but I mean, the only thing that's been happening with me is dreams of places, and it's like, and then the next thing you know, I'm messaging the owners like, hey, and all of a sudden, boom, they're like, yes, come in. It's like, usually it takes a lot more than just that. An owner say, yeah, come in, you know, type things.
Well, what you should do is, if you can get some good evidence, you know, build up a little bit and message me again, and we could have a evidence reveal on one of the shows if you'd be willing to do that.
Oh, sure. No problem. That would be fun.
I think so. Well, I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody that joins us. Appreciate it. Until the next one, peace.
Peace out.
Po boy.